Hello everyone, today is the part 1 of my Metier de Beaute brand review, and this brand is actually my most recent obsession. And as you guys know, as a blogger and vlogger, I run into lots of different brands and I try as much as humanly possible. I have tried a lot over the years, and I have to say LMDB for short has really impressed me over the last couple months that I've been trying their products. I'm going to begin with their eyeshadows because that's what they're most famous for, and this is my first single eyeshadow in Sequoia. This is a matte eyeshadow. It's definitely on the cool side, but it works well across all skin tones. I highly recommend that you use this with a brush and use a primer beneath because it is a very creamy matte eyeshadow, and I know that sounds strange because it is a powder, but these Metier de Beaute eyeshadows are really silky. Now for my favorite bit, the Kaleidoscopes, and before I forget, I am trying out a different hairstyle today. I did curl my hair with hot rollers, which I haven't done in years, so I hope you guys don't think it's completely old school of me to do this. But if you're interested in a tutorial, just leave me a comment down below in the description box and I'll get to it as soon as possible if I get enough requests. I do own two, which I'm very lucky to have. This one is the holiday kaleidoscope called Splendid Frost, and I purchased this one at Neiman Marcus. And this one is the Kaleidoscope Eye Kit in Penelope, which was just released for this summer, and I purchased this one from Nordstrom. Very select Nordstroms do carry a Metier de Beaute counter, one particularly in Newport Beach, which is where I ordered mine from because this wasn't available online until very late in the season. But if you're interested, I highly recommend you visit a Neiman Marcus or a Nordstrom beauty counter and check out the products before you purchase. I'm sure many of you are interested in the compact itself. It comes with a mirrored lid on the top right there, and the brand name Metier de Beaute is scripted right across the bottom. Each of the panels lifts out like this. It's a clamp form. As you can see, the eyeshadows just pop out like that. And with this Splendid Frost, I'm going to show you the couche de couleur technique, which is the eyeshadow application technique that Metier de Beaute has created for their eyeshadows. The first color here on Penelope is the warm color. It's a really beautiful, soft, warm gold. Next is the cool tone color, which is a lavender. It's actually very wearable though, and I'm not a big fan of lavender on my eyes, but I do love this and I do get a lot of use out of it already. Here is the hot shade, and the hot shade is just an intensified version of the warm shade, which I think is really interesting because when you layer these colors, they all work so well together. So this is a slightly bronzed taupe. And lastly is my favorite color. This is the most beautiful, multi-dimensional forest green that I've ever applied to my lids. It's so smooth, not overly frosty, and absolutely wonderful as an eyeliner. I will post swatches of this Penelope Kaleidoscope on my blog and I will review it as well, but let me just tell you right now, this is a must-have. Now before I review all the other Metier de Beaute products in my possession, I'm going to show you how I wear Splendid Frost using the couche de couleur technique. I'm going to start with the first eyeshadow pan of my Splendid Frost Kaleidoscope, and using a large shader brush, I'm going to place the color all over the lid. I am taking it very slightly up the brow bone, but you just want to focus it mostly along the lid. It's so easy to achieve even coverage with these eyeshadows. Putting on your makeup is so effortless. Now that we've applied the warm shade, we're going to go into the second pan, which is the cool shade. And using the other side of my eyeshadow brush, I'm just going to dip it into the pan. And we're going to place it back onto the lid. I really love this combination of the warm taupe and this cool gray. It creates the simplest smoky eye that you'll ever achieve. Now I'm just going to take this slightly past the crease. And now we're going to use the third shade, which is the hot color. Using the same side of the brush that I picked up the first warm shade with, I'm going to layer this bright, beautiful hot pink all over the lid and just ever so slightly past the crease. And now for the last eyeshadow pan, which is a gorgeous deep blue with pink sparkles that match the third hot color that we just applied. Using the same side of the brush that I picked up the gray cool shadow with, I'm just going to pat this lightly onto the lid, almost like liner. Now you can use this wet, for more intensity as an eyeliner. But like I said, we're just going to use a simple couche de couleur technique. Now that the eyeshadow is complete, I'm going to apply eyeliner and mascara. And actually, I did want to go over my right eye. Instead of using a brush, I actually used my fingertips to apply all the eyeshadow. I'm a big fan of what Giorgio Armani's celebrity face artist, Tim Quinn, calls finger painting. So I did want to test it out, and I believe it came out beautifully. So you could try that as well. And one of my favorite elements of the Splendid Frost is the versatility. You can use the third hot shade as a blush, which I've done today. I'm just going to pop it right along the apples of the cheeks. I already applied it on this one, as you can see. It's really a beautiful shade to wear as a blush, and that's why this Splendid Frost Kaleidoscope makes the perfect travel companion. It's a complete multitasker. Metier de Beaute has told us that they will be bringing the Kaleidoscope back. For news on the Kaleidoscopes and for upcoming collections, you guys should really check out their Facebook because they're a very interactive company. Most recently and most impressive, actually, they asked what their consumers would really hope to be improvements to their products. And the one problem and an issue with the Kaleidoscope that I've noticed too is that the glue on the eyeshadow pans is very weak. So occasionally I do get a little bit of slippage and it will fall out. So they are reportedly improving the glue for the Kaleidoscopes. So that just goes to show the extent about how much the company really cares about people who buy the products, which I think is wonderful because that's what you would expect from a really high-end brand like this. Before I start the full review though, I do want to top my lips with a gloss. My Neiman Marcus sales associate gave me the Marchesa travel-sized lip gloss duo, and if you guys haven't heard of Marchesa before, it's a duo of two female designers, and they design dresses mostly, and they do have a more affordable collection, and of course they also have their regular line and then the specialty dresses for the celebrities. But LMDB did team up with Marchesa a little bit ago, and they created a designer collection just for Marchesa lovers, but it was a beautiful collection, and I did skip out on it just because I wasn't overly familiar with the brand at the time, but I still do love this little duo, and I'm really glad that my sales associate gave me this to try. Now, since we're on the topic of lip products, I haven't tried any of the Metier de Beaute lipsticks, but I have tried their lip creme, which is a liquid lipstick, and this is in Peche. Most of you who watch my videos already know that I love peach lipsticks. Peach anything, really. So here's a swatch. It is slightly frosty, as you can see, and on my lips it reads exactly as it does in the swatch, if not perhaps a little brighter. I do think this is a lovely liquid lipstick though, and my favorite liquid lipstick in the past was the Dior Creme de Glace, but their shade selection is very limited and they read all rather similarly on my lips. But these lip creams are really unique in color, and if you see swatches online, you will notice that they're all very different. So this is a really expensive investment. It's $36 plus tax. It is worthwhile and it's very hydrating. I have ultra sensitive lips, so everything makes them peel, but these hydrate instantly and they just drench my lips in moisture, so that's why I cannot live without this. I don't like to carry lip products in my purse, but I have this one with me at all times. Now for their eyebrow pencil, which you have seen me use in a couple tutorials now. This is the eyebrow pencil in Fawn, and I purchased this when I saw Kayla, who's a Metier de Beaute makeup artist, use this in one of her tutorials. Here's a swatch right there. Kayla has really lush, dark brows, but she still used Fawn, which is a true taupe color. And I love taupe brow pencils because my eyebrows are very thin, so this means I can manipulate them to whatever color that I would like. So I usually prefer taupes because they're not as warm as dark browns tend to be. So I really do love this, and it's a really waxy formula, so I like to pair this with my Shiseido Natural Brow Pencil in Natural Black. So together they make the perfect eyebrow color for me. And instead of a traditional spoolie, this one comes with a comb, and it has these really little teeth that really help shape through the wax. Now for the tools, I purchased the eyelash curler, which they actually didn't offer as a product for purchase until recently. But I purchased mine as soon as it was available, and I really do love how spongy it is. For those who have really stubborn lashes, this might not be the best because it's a gentle eyelash curler. I still love and cannot live without my Shi Uemura curler, but the Metier de Beaute eyelash curler definitely is one worth checking out. If you find that you've been having trouble with an eyelash curler not pulling at your lashes or pinching the skin, this is a really nice wide lash curler that really helps to grab all the lashes, even if it's not exactly right at the root, which is where most of the pinching occurs. Now for this concealer brush, I absolutely adore the Metier de Beaute's brushes because they're so tiny and travel sized. Now this might be a problem for those of you who do prefer longer handled brushes, but even with my Dior brushes, which are an absolute favorite of mine because they use blue squirrel hair, most companies still do have long handled brushes. I simply prefer these because they're easier to travel with, and for me, because I have small hands, it's actually easier to apply when I'm sitting right in front of the camera. I purchased the Sephora Airbrush concealer brush because it got great reviews, but then when I tried it, I realized it really wasn't the right concealer brush for me. I do prefer these traditional flat concealer brushes. And when I read the non-blonde's review on this brush, I knew I had to have it. I really trust her opinion when it comes to brushes, and this is no exception. This costs an arm and a leg, it's $50, but it really blends in my Touche Éclat, which is my favorite highlighter for the under eyes, in so well. I generally like to use my fingers with my concealer, which these days is Dior Sculpt in 02, but for my Touche Éclat, which I'm wearing today, I just pat it in with this brush here, and it blends flawlessly. So this is worth the money, and I do highly recommend it. I can't wait to try more brushes from this brand, but they're just so expensive, it's hard for me to make that investment. I really do want to see though how the brushes work with the Kaleidoscopes because Metier de Beaute makes my favorite eyeshadows. It's really official now. They are my go-to eyeshadow brand. Now I haven't tried any of their face products like foundation or powder. I'm just super tan at the moment. I'm the darkest I've been since high school. I'm 22 now and I was, 14 in high school, so it's been a while. It really is a nice change to be tan, but it is hard for me to find foundation colors because if I purchase something, then I become lighter, or if I purchase something, I become even darker. So it's been a roller coaster with my skin, but I do have to say I have swatched the foundation and I have swatched that skincare tinted moisturizer, and both are really lovely textures. So once I can afford them, I will try to purchase them and review them for you. I actually do want to try the Anamorphic Mascara as well, because there's no tar, no charcoal, anything harmful to the eyes. I'm really careful with because my eyes are very photosensitive and sensitive to begin with. It's not even my use of contacts or color lenses or anything. My eyes are just very naturally sensitive. So their Anamorphic Mascara is definitely the next on my purchase list. But for today, I am going to end with their nail polishes. I adore nail polish, as you guys know. I didn't start wearing nail polish until I started vlogging. There's just something about a really well-groomed manicured nail that really makes a difference. And thankfully, the Metier de Beaute nail polishes make my life so much easier because they actually do wear really well. This is Ken Downing's Coral Collection nail lacquer. It's called Contagious Coral, and if you can still find it, I highly recommend you purchase it because it is officially my favorite red. And this is a full-size LMDB lacquer. This is the mini. I purchased the minis at Nordstrom for the anniversary sale. These minis were a set that were created just for Nordstrom, and this was created just for Neiman Marcus. I'm not wearing any base coat, just a simple top coat, and I have 3 layers on this nail. 2 is good, but it's still slightly transparent, and with my reds, I like a really rich, full glossy cream, so I have 3 layers on and it's perfection. I only have minor tip wear, and generally nail polishes chip within 2 days if I don't wear a base coat. But as you can see, I really have not much wear at all, and I've worn this nail polish for 4 days now. I'll be posting swatches of all of these nail polishes on my blog, and just look at how cute and tiny they are. For 4 of these minis, it was $25. And it's really nice to have these minis because I do travel a lot, so it's easy to toss in my bag and paint whenever I have the time. So thank you, Metier de Beaute, for thinking of us busy people who don't really want to travel with a full-size nail polish. These minis are just too cute to pass up, and if you haven't gone to Nordstrom to check these out yet, I highly recommend that you pick them up before they're all gone. And that is the end of my Metier de Beaute Part 1 review on YouTube. And as always, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye!